A lot of times, chimneys and fireplaces can pose serious safety concerns for your home, could also cause fires that happen over time and could burn your home down. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants their personal belongings or things that they've had for a very long time to go up in flames. So that is why it's very important to have your chimney inspected, especially these older homes that have masonry fireplaces and chimneys. A lot of times they have many areas where water can leak in, and when water mixes with creosote buildup, the byproduct of a fire, it becomes acidic and starts to eat away at the mortar in those fireplaces and chimneys. And when that mortar starts to deteriorate, that's when you have safety concerns, because if that mortar that was there blocking the heat from going through is now gone, now you have heat transferring into areas where it shouldn't. It can start to heat up wood framing that you have in the walls or in the attic, and eventually that can start a fire. So you always want to make sure that you have somebody come and inspect it before you use it, especially if you're buying a new home or you've never used it before. In homes that have prefabricated fireplaces, there's not as many safety concerns that can happen as a masonry unit, but you do have flue pipe that runs all the way from your fireplace up and out of your roof, and then you have a cap usually up on top of there. And a lot of times if that pipe is disconnected, now you have heat transferring through that disconnect into a chase, which is just a hollow cavity with wood framing around it. So that could also help burn the home down. Now, of course, with prefabricated units, you have a chase that usually has vinyl, stucco, sometimes brick. It may be on the outside of that chimney. So you want to make sure that you don't have water coming in from the top, because if you do have water getting in there, it can cause structural damage to anything inside that chase, all that wood that's there. And if you start to have structural issues, now you're going to have to rebuild that chase. And that's going to be a much more costly expense than having a chimney company come out, give you an inspection, tell you what's wrong, and possibly fix it right then and there without you having to do any serious repairs to your home. Now, a lot of times people think that chimneys are bulletproof, objects on the side of their home. They have fires that go in them, so nothing can really go wrong with that. But unfortunately, that is far from the truth. There is a lot that can go wrong, especially if they're not built or installed correctly. So it is very important to get your chimney inspected. And if you are using your fireplace frequently, you definitely want to make sure that it gets cleaned and inspected at least once a year, because it could be perfect this year, but over the time that you've been burning, that heat, whatever, makes metal warp, makes things happen that you can't see and you would not know about unless you are trained in looking for those things, which most people aren't. And I totally understand that, because before I even worked here, I knew nothing about chimneys and fireplaces. So it is great to get that inspected.